I'd been trying to buy this Volkswagen Westfalia van since 2006. One thing that held me back was, of course, the owner, but the other thing that held me back was this was an automatic. But at some point, the automatic becomes just sort of eccentric and doesn't really matter. Now, in the past, every time I got close to making a deal for this Vanagon, something would come up and the owner would slam the door. But not this time. So once the deal was made for the old Westie and a 1966 Vespa 150 Super, but that's a different story, I figured the difficult part was over. But the van had been sitting for a very long time, in fact since 1998, so it was a very reluctant roller. The brakes were frozen, the tires were flat, and then of course there was a thunderstorm. Well, fortunately, it did not drop off the edge like Zane was concerned about, but we did have to overcome the dragging brakes, which proved to be too much for the electric winch. So it was time for me to employ the hand winch and put some beef into this loading operation. And despite annoying some local downtowners, this part of the adventure was just about complete. Here we are in the Volkswagen Westfalia, automatic, boogie woogie interior. Put a battery in it. Just going to turn it over for the first time. Give it a go. Not expecting much, so fingers crossed. Okay, that didn't sound good at all. We're checking out the battery situation in this Westfalia. This unit actually has two batteries. One here, one under each seat. So we got the jump box hooked to this one. And they run in parallel. And so what we're going to do is hook up this battery with some cables, because it doesn't fit into this box, just to give it some extra power, just to make sure the starter is the culprit here before we actually remove the starter. So we'll give that a go right quick. You can get an idea of how nice this Westfalia is. Look at this battery compartment. It's like new in there. You could have your lunch in there. I'll just sit down here in this tiny driver's seat. Well, let's just see if we get anything better than what we had last time. Okay, here we go. Not great. Okay, that's a no-go. Probably have to take the starter out, clean it, see what's going on. Hey. Sounds like a weak battery, but I know it's not. Well, let's take a look at the starter. All right, let's get in the engine compartment here. So we're in the back of the Westfalia here, and you can't have a Westfalia without a picnic kit. So I bought this from one of my Volkswagen buddies. Made in Germany. Pretty cool. Did I need it? No. Did I want it? Yes. I mean, how can you have a Westfalia without these little super cool cups and plates? Right? Okay, so we'll remove this boogie woogie cushion. All in really nice shape. Little latch here. Open that up. this up. Got the cover off. See the engine, 2-liter air cooled, flat 4. Looks nice and original. It's got an air conditioner crammed in the side there. You know that's going to work great. All right, let's test this starter here. I just pulled off the Westfalia. You can see the Bendix kicking out. It's not going in and out too well though. It doesn't sound good and it's not kicking out, so that's a problem. So here you see the stock VW starter on the left, and you can see someone wired in an extra solenoid, probably to help with some sort of hot starting issue. And on the right is a 70s Porsche 911 starter I had back in the back. You can see it's longer than the VW unit, and with minor modifications it will go back into that Vanagon and it will end all the starting issues. Heck, this 911 starter probably has more torque than that VW engine. All right, I've gotten back into this tiny seat. We've got the 911 starter now installed into our 1980 Volkswagen Westfalia. We're going to see what the 911 starter does in place of that little rinky-dink original VW starter. Let's turn the key on. Looks promising so far. Oh yeah, now that's what I'm talking about. We can make it run with that. So this Vanagon is pretty much the end of the air-cooled era for Volkswagen. It came out in 1980, but by 1983, it was only an option. You could get an air-cooled, you could get a Wasser Boxer, which is water-cooled, or you could get a diesel. And then, of course, for the next year, after 1983, there was no more air-cooled at all. So the air-cooled Vanagon is sort of the last tie back to the old VW Splitties, the old VW vans, the hippie vans. And so there is that connection. But once it turned into a water-cooled van, the performance increased, the drivability got better. All of these things were good, but it just wasn't the same as the old air-cooled engine. So it lost some of its campiness. And the Westfalia took the regular Volkswagen van and took it to a whole new level of camping with features like pop-up top, stove, sink, refrigerator, everything you'd need for a very small family on a very small camping trip.